Hey y'all, it's Natalie here for Not Just for Boys Kit Club. I am using the August Limitless kit again, and this is my last layout for the month because we're about to reveal a new kit and it's so awesome. But I'm still going strong with this one. I have this awesome cut file that's from the cardstock cuts section of the Not Just for Boys store, and it's these cool stars, and you fold up the half circle and you can see the paper underneath, which is super fun. So I'm going to use this navy blue set sail, I think is what it's called, paper from the Limitless kit, and I'm going to use that as my base, and I'm just going to use my little scraper tool here to help me tear the cut file in half a little bit and give me control over where I want the torn paper. So, and I'll be able to use the other half later. But that's kind of the idea. I want to stick that part at the top, but I decided I wanted a little bit of a yellow border, and I'm going to gut this cardstock as well because I want to use it to die cut some other items, and I don't need the middle of that paper because, you know, it's going to be all covered up, right? So that's what I'm doing here is I'm gutting it. I'm going in about 2 inches on either end and gutting a big old square out of the middle that I can reuse. The photo I'm scrapbooking today is me and my sons. We were getting ready to go to the blue and gold banquet. I was the bear cub den leader this past year for my older son, and my younger son was also a lion, and that was an adventure. But I had fun with it, and so I got to present all the boys with their awards and their pocket knives, which are a big deal at this banquet. And so I was a little dressed up and the boys were in their uniforms and they were cute. So I trimmed down the navy blue paper here. I'm going to trim it on all sides to make it where you can just see a little bit of that cardstock. And this is the Brights cardstock collection. It's also in the Not Just for Boys store. I'll link to the blog down below, and it has all of the items linked up to the store. I will also link to the store down below if you would like to go buy your Limitless kit. You definitely should. It's a really great kit, and I've made 3 layouts with it, and I'm still going. Like, I have plenty more to do. So they definitely go a long way. So what am I doing here now? Just trimming things down, seeing what I like. So I looked in my stash of dies, and I found a star die that really well matched the stars on the cut file. So I'm going to use that die, and I'm going to die cut some yellow stars out of that gutted part of the paper. But first, I'm going to use some yellow watercolor, and I'm going to generously sprinkle it all over this cut file while the folded bits are still folded down, because I want them to be stark white when I fold them up. So I'm putting a lot of splatter on there, and I set it aside to dry. And you can see my stars over there on the right. And I'm going to trim down my photo a little. I don't normally work with 4x6 photos, but I knew I was going to be able to trim this one down because there was a lot of white on it. So I was okay with it being bigger than normal. I'm going to use some of that gutted cardstock to back it and just give a nice little bright yellow border around the photo. Just those bright pops. The Limitless kit is kind of like a little more of a vintage vibe, and so this is a good way to really make it a little more modern if that's the look you're going for. And since my photos were so bright white and I was using this cardstock cut that was also bright white, I decided that's what I wanted to do. So I'm going to use my Nuvo adhesive, which is available in the store as well, to attach these yellow die cut stars into the star portion and fold up the part where you can kind of like have a peekaboo reveal of the paper underneath. And then you can see my tiny attacher is laying there. After I'm done sticking all the stars down, I'm going to go through and use my tiny attacher to make sure that the folded up portions of the circles will stay folded up. And I was a little concerned because it doesn't, reach the middle of the paper until I realized I could actually go through the circle. So there would never have been, even if I'd used a full 12 by 12 sheet, there never would have been a point where my tiny attacher wouldn't have been able to reach to do this task. And so I'm just kind of like sprinkling the staples in all different directions and kind of different orientations. I do an X on one of them, and sometimes I do 2 and sometimes I do 1. I just kind of try to do something different on each circle. And I'm really happy with how that looks. I love the navy blue popping through. Those are the colors of the Cub Scouts, is navy blue and yellow. At least it is where we are. I don't know if it is everywhere, but it is for our pack. And so that is the word tag acrylic piece, and that is also from the Not Just for Boys store, and it is linked up in the blog. And I'm combining it with these really skinny dies. I cut the word cub out of the gutted paper, and then I cut it a couple of more times out of white cardstock. And I'm just using the white cardstock to layer it behind the yellow to give it some dimension and just some sturdiness, because it's such a skinny die. So I'm just kind of making it thicker. So I do that for all 3 letters, and so the title is going to say Cub Memories. I thought that kind of sounded like core memories. I don't know. Anyway, and I don't do any journaling on this page because I am going to do a 6x12 pocket page as well, and that's not done yet, but it will be soon, and so it will include the journaling and additional photos from this evening. So I pulled a few pieces of ephemera from my stash, just anything that kind of went with the yellow color. And you can see I kind of pulled a couple that maybe aren't quite right. And I go and stick that tag there and I'm like, no, that's not right. It's like a mustardy yellow more. So I do remove that here in a moment. But I like that layered up memories on top of like the measuring tape, because I feel like measuring is something that we would do in Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts. We do a lot of activities, and we did build things this year. So I love the little turquoise flowers as well. I thought they bring in the blue nicely, and so I got 3 of those because that is a good number for balance and a crafty layout. Now I had the embellishments kind of where I wanted them, so I decided it was time to commit and start gluing everything down. So I'm going to glue the background paper to the border paper here. And I'm happy with how that's looking. Just got to make sure that the yellow is peeking around all of the sides really well. And then I'm going to stick down the cardstock cut. And they already cut this for you and send it to you if you don't have a cutting machine. Or I think you can also buy the digital cut file. So either way you want it. It's really nice that they have the option for both. So I'm going to go ahead and stick my photo down. I'm going to go ahead and stick it like perpendicular. I'm not going to like tilt it like I do a lot of times, because I feel like we have a lot going on here, and I don't embellish a ton, but again, that background paper is pretty busy with all that white, like the map, so it didn't need a lot of embellishing. It just needed a little bit of additional yellow to kind of break up and layer up the photo onto the paper there. So I think we're almost done. Like I said, I'm going to link to the store down below. I'm also going to link to the blog post. And in the blog post, you can find very specific links to the exact products that I used. So make sure to check out the Not Just for Boys August Limitless Kit. That's what I'm using here. And let me know if you have any questions. I would love it if you'd like and subscribe to my channel. I'm really close to 1,000 subbies. So close, you guys. Oh, by the way, I just glued that acrylic piece down with glossy accents. To me and most people, I think that is what they use to glue down acrylic, because it's not very porous, the acrylic isn't, and so you really want to make sure that you have something strong there. So glossy accents is going to get it on that paper and not let go. So we're just going to go around. The last thing I'm going to do is I have a little tag over there. I had to look up the date that this photo was taken, so I didn't do it on screen. But I do just like do a quick little date stamp on that little tag, and that's going to be the final bit. You can see it in the photos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe. Check out Not Just for Boys Kit Club. Links down below. Bye, y'all.